Real Talk with Jodi and Michal. Real friends, real situations, real life. Authentic chats from the heart to the gut. Two best friends keeping it raw, real, and relatable.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Jodi and Michal, Real Talk with Jodi and Michal. I'm Jodi Greenblatt. I am a licensed marriage and family therapist turned relationship and empowerment coach for women who are ready to break free from toxic relationships so that you can date confidently and attract the kind of man you've always wanted. Someone who supports you, loves you, cherishes you, and prioritizes you. And I am here with my lifelong friend, Michal Ofer, and I will let you introduce what you do, Michal.
Hi, everybody, and thanks, Jodi. My name is Michal Offer, and I am a nutrition consultant. I create customized lifestyle and dietary programs for groups and individuals to help them optimize their lives and heal from disease and live their best experience. And yeah, I think it doesn't sound like what we do really connects, but the more we speak, the more we realize how much crossover there is.
Yeah, for sure, the mind-body connection. And in fact, this is a great segue from last week because last week we talked about cheating in relationships. We talked about concepts of cheating is a betrayal of trust. Cheating is dishonesty. It's done in secret. It is hidden from your partner. Otherwise, it wouldn't be cheating. It would be consensual. So whether you've had an explicit conversation with your partner about what cheating is and whether cheating is okay and how you would handle it and what your thoughts are, even if you've not had that conversation, it is generally implied that partners don't want their partners to, that people don't want their partners to be betraying them, cheating on them, betrayal regardless. Nobody wants that in their lives. So we talked about that last week. You can go watch that episode. We talked about relationships and cheating. And then Michal, you and I were kind of talking about, well, can we cheat on ourselves? Can we betray ourselves? And by doing something that we know we ourselves wouldn't approve of, if I'm doing something that I know I don't approve of, if I'm doing something I know isn't good for me, am I cheating on myself? If I'm being dishonest with myself. So what do you think about that?
Well, this was really exciting to me. And from my perspective, we're talking about your lifestyle, your general lifestyle, your nutrition in specifics. But I think it can apply all over. And one of the things that you said in your intro is you help women specifically, but I mean all people, break free from toxic relationships. And sometimes that toxic relationship is with ourselves. And you and I have spoken a lot about self-worth and a lot about understanding, who you are before you can actually have a relationship with somebody else. And it's unbelievably interesting because we're very, very willing, most of us are very, very willing to do a lot of work in many of the other areas of our life. When
Mhm.
it comes to food, many people find it way more challenging. And there's many reasons for the challenge, right? Food, we can probably abstain from most things in life, other
Mhm.
than oxygen, food, water, and physical touch. Um,
Mhm.
we need connection and physical touch.
Yeah.
Let's take that one out. The problem with food is that it's the one thing we cannot abstain from 100%.
Mhm.
And our current food environment has been so insanely manipulated that over 90%, and I'm not exaggerating, of the products that we choose to put in our mouths, and by we, I'm being general we, not you and me, that we necessarily, maybe we do, to put in our mouths isn't actually food. Because food is nourishment. The same
Mm-hmm.
way oxygen is nourishment. Water is nourishment. Physical touch is nourishment. And what we're putting in our body is not nourishment.
What are you referring to?
Give me a second.
Okay.
If that's okay. So as I said, over 90% of the products that are out there. What that means is that the product has been, maybe it was once upon a time something that was actually edible, truly nourishing, but it has been manipulated in such a way that all nourishment from it has been stripped. And what has been added in its place is this very perfect, and it's a scientific, it's food science, right? This very perfect combination of fat and sugar and salt that hyperstimulates your taste buds and hyperstimulates your neurotransmitters, so you don't understand what it is you're eating, and you have very little ability to control it. Your body, which has changed very little in the last 10,000 years, doesn't experience those types of products in nature and doesn't know what to do with them. So this is really important, because the appeal isn't simply, oh, I want that. Like it is simply, oh, I want that. But the reason that you want that is multifactorial, right? And then we have marketing, and then we have social acceptance, and then we have peer pressure, and then we have Instagram and Facebook and TikTok, and for women specifically, all the lies and the body image stuff that's been thrown at us over the last 3 decades. And it just adds to the confusion. And then right now, there's an entire industry set around, you deserve it, right? You deserve to feel good. You deserve to treat yourself well, which has been equated with this, right? And it's okay to be significantly overweight, which is different from accepting yourself as you are and making changes. It's actually become, because of everything that's happened to us, socially acceptable to be significantly overweight, which I know this is going to cause a lot of pushback.
Yeah, because I'm sitting here wondering, yeah, where it's socially acceptable or what you're
Well,
thinking.
go try and buy clothes. Go try and buy clothes and see where the majority of the clothing sizes are. They're not in what would be considered, I'm trying to choose my words carefully here, what would be considered average, right, for a female. It is okay to be larger. You hear this, healthy at any size, HAES. That's actually not true. That's a big misrepresentation. Are there some people who are larger and healthy? Yes. Is this the majority of people? No.
Is healthy at any size? Do people literally mean by that any size is healthy? Or is it does? It doesn't, so it doesn't mean in
It's
terms of don't body shame if someone's a little overweight, that
no.
it's, you can still be your healthiest self.
Started with a body shaming movement, and it has become this healthy, literally what it says, healthy at any size.
So you're saying that's a contradiction in terms, because you literally can't be healthy if you're weight.
Are there some people? Yes, it's a bell curve, right? Everything about nature generally is a bell curve. There are some people who can be healthy, and there are some people who are so unhealthy and so overweight, and we've all seen pictures and stuff, that it's like a very, very, like, death is imminent. Most people live on this bell curve where their weight impacts their longevity.
Mm-hmm.
So you might not see it today. You might not see it tomorrow. You might not see it in 6 months. But if you look at it over a period of time, there is a decrease. We know in animal models and in human models, and we're getting a little bit off the topic here, but we know that people of, I'm going to say average size, or that actually are even slightly underweight for their size, live longer.
Interesting. Even so, does that translate into being a little underweight is healthier than being a little overweight? Not
Yes, no,
necessarily.
there's nuance there, and there's a lot of research being done in this space, because there's another whole body of research which talks about muscle mass, and that as a society, it's not necessarily that we're over fat, we're under muscled.
Mm,
If you have a lot of fat mass on you, it's very difficult to have a lot of muscle mass on you. So if
yeah.
you are under muscled, you are more likely, and I'm not talking about sarcopenia, I'm talking about the general population. If you are under muscled, you are generally overfatted.
Wow. That seems so obvious, but I've never heard it said that way.
Yeah. So I have some wonderful mentors and some wonderful teachers who have taught me some amazing stuff, but that's for another conversation. So back to cheating. So the whole environment is stacked against you, right? Most of us as women, especially in our generation, grow up with very poor self-esteem. We've been told our whole lives that we're not good enough in some way. Every single cover of every single Cosmopolitan when you and I were growing up were these absolutely gorgeous, fantastic women, right? And now people will say, yeah, but now that's the body positivity movement. You see people who look more like you. They're still airbrushed. They're still made to look their best. There's still wrinkles that they take away. So they might not take away oh, there's a little bulge here or a bulge there that gets airbrushed out. And
Yeah.
we know this, but your subconscious doesn't even register that.
Yeah. Yeah.
More your realm, but I'm sure you
They
understand that.
see the perfection on social media, and it can make a person feel less than.
Yeah, you see this person who looks exactly like you would like to look, right?
Yeah.
Whatever that might be. This is what I eat in a day: two lettuce leaves, and then maybe a couple of grapes. And then for dinner, I might have some steamed fish, but only this much. And although we understand that that can't be true, and that's not sustainable, we still look at that and go, okay, so I need to do that to look like that, right? The same way when you see a bodybuilder at the gym, you
Mhm.
know you need to do what he does to look like he does. You don't just wake up one day looking like that, right? So the diet industry is huge. If diets worked, there wouldn't be an entire section in
Mhm.
every single bookstore and
Mhm.
even on Amazon or that, just filled with different diets and
Different
diet.
diets, right?
And every diet can work for someone for a period of time.
Mhm.
What is the best diet? That's another conversation, but it is generally the one that you'll stick to consistently. No, I
Mhm.
didn't say 100%. I said
Mhm.
consistently. And the one that yields, and we have wonderful technology now, the one that yields a healthy you. And you can really monitor and test how healthy you are. And it's not just what you look like on the outside,
Yeah.
because what you look like on the inside can be significantly different.
And what kind of things are you thinking of when you say the inside?
Liver. Your
Uh,
liver can get really fatty. Fatty
okay.
liver disease, non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, is one of the biggest health issues of our time. You can be
Mhm.
insulin resistant, type 2 diabetes. Yes, when you are overweight, you are at
Mhm.
higher risk of type 2 diabetes. But skinny people can get type 2 diabetes too, because their liver gets fat. High blood pressure. You can't see high blood pressure,
Uh-huh.
right? Alzheimer's doesn't start in your 70s. Alzheimer's
Mm.
starts in your 20s and your 30s. You can't see brain degradation just by looking at you. So it's not just about the outside, it's about
Mhm.
what's going on the inside.
And
So,
you sound like you're saying also healthy nutrition is not just, like you say, not just the outside, but and not just the inside body, but you're talking about your brain as well. You're nourishing your brain, you're nourishing all parts of your body.
well, the food that think about a car, right? The gasoline in a car, or the electric vehicle charge, if that's what you want, or the diesel, if that's what you want. But the energy to power your car will determine whether your car drives or not.
Mhm.
If the engine is working well, will determine whether that energy can actually make the car drive. Same. The food that you eat is everything in your
Mhm.
body. But the
Mhm.
way your body works will determine how well that energy, that nutrition, can make your skin, or
Mhm.
how well it can keep your heart functioning, or how well it can keep your brain functioning, right? And we need certain things in order to do that. And so when you're talking about diet and fat loss, um, or even just a longevity diet, you're really talking about health optimization
Mhm.
more than you are about looking good naked.
Mhm.
Because when you are healthy, when you are truly healthy, you look good naked. Why? Because your body is functioning well.
Mhm.
Now, back to cheating.
Mhm.
You have any, does this make sense to you?
I'm loving this.
Okay, wonderful. So we go on this plan and it's pretty restrictive and we're cutting out all the bad stuff.
Mhm.
In my world, I'd say I divide food into two categories. I say we don't only eat for nutrition. We
Mhm.
eat predominantly for nutrition,
Mhm.
but think about the difference between eating alone and eating with your partner or eating
Mhm.
with a friend.
Mhm.
Right? It's much more pleasurable to eat with somebody. Eating is a form of connection, right?
Absolutely. All the
Eating
way
is
back in history, it really is.
it's a
Family functions, gatherings, events it's all centered around food.
food, right? You're sitting around the campfire, even like
Mhm.
way back in the day, right?
Mhm.
And so it's a form of connection, it's a form of respect and affection, right? I'm welcoming you into my home, those kinds of things. It's also a form of pleasure,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
And we know this from when babies are born because if anybody's ever tasted it, breast milk is sweet and it's sweet for a reason. Um, one of those is so that the baby will enjoy it. We are programmed to enjoy the taste of sweet.
Mhm.
Another issue,
Mhm.
right? You wonder why you can't eat just a piece of chocolate. It's because your brain is programmed to enjoy the taste of sweet, which is fine when it's not manufactured and put in front of you in excessive amounts that you would never get by picking an apple off a tree. But I
Mhm.
digress again. Um, and we know, and the baby experiences pleasure and connection
Yeah.
and love
Yeah.
when missing from its mum.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it continues to nurse or it continues to want to nurse.
Mhm.
And they've done research on bottle fed and formula fed babies, and there really is something that is lacking in them than in breastfed babies. Same as I mean, and there's ways to get all of those things. This isn't about that. The same way
Mhm.
with incubator babies, right? They discovered that that's why there's the hands now in
Mhm.
the incubator so that you can touch the baby because touch
Yeah.
is so important. It's one
Yeah.
of those things that I mentioned, right?
Touch is super important for connection. I mean, that's exactly it. Connection and touch. Mm-hmm.
So food is nourishment mainly,
Mm-hmm.
and this whole bunch of other stuff,
Mm-hmm.
right? And when we look at the pleasure principle of food, I talk about food like as entertainment. Or I make a joke and I say it's Netflix for your tongue.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because it's not really giving you nourishment, right? When you're eating that chocolate bar,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we can all make jokes about it and that, but it's not nourishment. And the reason you went for that chocolate bar was not nourishment.
No,
You went
certainly
for the
not.
chocolate bar because it was pleasurable. And what and pleasure stimulates the reward response in our brain called dopamine. It stimulates this other response deep inside our brain called the nucleus accumbens. And all of that lights up and says, oh, yummy, lovely, give me more, right? And we live in this environment where more is everywhere.
Mm.
There's no seasonality to anything. There's nothing, right? We can get as much as we want. And dopamine specifically gets desensitized. I'm sure you've done some of this research, some of this research in your work, that the more dopamine stimulation you get, the more desensitized you become, so the more you need. So whereas once upon a time, one piece of chocolate would do, now you can't, now you have to finish the whole bar.
What makes it addictive?
Yeah, and then you look for another. And food is the most socially acceptable addiction that we have, right? You can't necessarily go and shoot drugs up in front of everybody, but you can have
And
a
it's
big,
what you said, it's what you said in the beginning as well. We can't not eat. We
right.
need food, which
But
makes it more difficult, I suppose, to
yeah,
diet because we
yeah.
need it.
But you have to understand the difference between food and entertainment.
Mm.
And for me, it starts there. Now, poor self-esteem, bombarded with all of this food environment that isn't really food, right? And like, think about it. Think about any grocery store. You've got your fruit and vegetable section, you've got your meat section, maybe you've got your dairy section, and then you've got this huge section. It's bigger than the others all combined.
Yeah.
That's entertainment. You don't need, there is not one product in there that you need. That if you didn't have it, you would die.
Yeah. In fact, you'd be
Not
healthy
one.
for sure. Yeah.
Not one. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's all entertainment. And it's not to say we can never be entertained. We can. But consistently seeking entertainment over nourishment is problematic. And in a way, it's cheating on yourself, right? It's cheating yourself of the opportunity to feel amazing. And you could say, well, I eat whatever I want and I feel great. Have you ever not eaten whatever you've wanted and only eaten for nourishment and seen how you feel then?
You're
Because
saying the difference. You're saying until you do that, you don't know the difference.
yeah, you don't, right? The same way as if you eat something and it gives you a gut ache, and then you continue eating it, eventually your body says, I know I can't handle this food, but you keep on putting it in me, so I'm just going to suppress the gut ache symptom.
Your body finds a
It's
way to
not
deal with it. Basically, it becomes adaptive.
adaptive,
Or
right?
you become accustomed, it sounds like you're saying your body becomes accustomed to bad eating because it has to adapt. And then you think you're doing okay on this food. Yeah. And the part about cheating on yourself is you're not being good to yourself. The same way we were saying cheating in a relationship, you're not being good to the relationship. You're betraying the relationship. In this way, you're betraying yourself because you are not being good to yourself.
And literally you're continuing a toxic relationship with yourself because you're doing things that aren't promoting your betterment other than your instant gratification,
Mm-hmm.
because there is an instant gratification that comes there, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And yes, everybody's going to shout at me, but sugar withdrawal, and yes, sugar withdrawal is a true thing. And yes, but moderation. What is moderation? I hate the word
I
moderation.
know.
Right?
We've had an episode on that, so you guys can go and watch a previous
And what's
episode.
that, right? It's what is, like, when somebody says to me, I only eat it once in a while. Your once in a while is not my once in a while.
Right. Like you're saying, what is the measure of moderation? How do we
Yeah.
know how much it is? So
Yeah.
what is that when you say entertainment is not the is not the primary
Right.
reason of food, but it's okay to have entertainment. Where do you draw that line in terms of how much is okay, or is it, let me even start there. Is it ever okay to eat, can I just use my layman terms, junk? I don't know how you'll call it, but junk or food that you say isn't food.
Entertainment. right?
How-
Popcorn is entertainment,
Is
chips
that,
are
is that
entertainment.
okay?
Yeah.
Is it okay
Well,
to
so
prevent
it depends on you. So
Mm,
come to me with a severe health problem. Like
mm,
let's say you come to me, you're type 2 diabetic, your liver is, and these generally all cluster together. Your liver is fat, right?
mm-hmm,
Your blood pressure is high. You are what
mm-hmm,
we call insulin resistant, which means that your cells are not receiving the signaling from insulin, our transport and storage hormone, which means the cells cannot get energy and they also cannot get nutrients. So your
mm,
fat cells get bigger, right? You're fat, but you're undernourished, right? You have a big belly, your blood pressure's high, your lipids, your blood lipids, like your cholesterol is very out of whack and out of balance, right? You come to me with all those things, then it's probably in my mind appropriate for us to rip off the band-aid and do a really hard reset.
mm-hmm,
And think of it truly as your medication. Not that it can cure everything, it
mm-hmm,
can't. But when
mm-hmm,
you allow your body to calm down and you regulate things,
mm-hmm,
everything else that you're doing works better, right? So if you think about in your terms, if you're in a poor relationship and you're living on coffee and cigarettes
mm-hmm,
and you're not sleeping,
mm-hmm,
all you're eating is junk food, right? How
mm-hmm,
well is your brain working?
mm-hmm,
So when you sit down for therapy, how effective is that therapy going to be? It'll be somewhat effective, but
mm-hmm.
that's if your brain was working. How effective would the therapy be then?
Yeah, yeah, getting enough sleep, being able to think more clearly.
All of it, right? Making a decision, all of those things. So
Mm-hmm,
food right is the foundation to build health on. And for a period of time, not always and forever, for a period of time, there's no entertainment.
mm,
And that doesn't mean that nourishing food doesn't taste good, because
right.
steak on a grill that, and we can have a conversation about meat and that another time. A
Yeah,
steak on a grill can
yeah,
be absolutely delicious,
yeah, yeah.
right? With some roasted asparagus, with some olive oil poured, like yum,
Yeah.
right? And no,
You're
it doesn't
saying
have the same.
initially no entertainment. That's is that the
I'm
first way
saying
to
you
start?
can have yummy nutrition, so you can have delicious nutrition, so you can still
Mm-hmm.
get pleasure,
Mm-hmm.
but it's a different kind of pleasure from a bag of potato chips,
Yeah, for sure.
right? An absolutely different kind of pleasure.
Yeah.
And we have to train the body and the brain back to that, because we've spent many, many years of our lives on this roller coaster of eating all this stuff because it's good for you, or everything in moderation. And as I said, there is not one thing in the middle of the grocery store, not one thing that you would die if you didn't have.
Yeah.
Not,
Yeah. Yeah. I do hear people saying, do the perimeter of the grocery store. That's all you need.
but the perimeter, the grocery store is very smart. They put chocolate all over the place now, right? They do. They do. They
Yeah.
put all the fruit just as you've moved in. Fruit,
Yeah.
fruit is healthy. Fruit is pure sugar. We have hybridized fruit to make it pure sugar. Does that mean fruit is not in your nutrition plan? No.
Mhm.
Fruit can be part of your nutrition plan, but not in unlimited quantities.
Is vegetables healthier than fruit?
Yes. You notice I didn't even flinch there.
I
Much,
know.
much more nutrients,
Mm-hmm.
much more fiber,
Mm-hmm.
much less sugar.
Yeah.
Okay. And you want to know what's even healthier than all of that? I'm
Yeah.
just going to say this and move on. Meat.
I knew it. I knew you were
I
going to say
love
that.
that. You've spoken to me about this enough. But anyway, so back
Yeah.
to cheating. So, and yes, it's hard. And yes, it sucks. And yes, it means setting boundaries with yourself and setting boundaries with other people. Well, I'm going to my great grandma's house and she makes me this apple pie, especially for me. And if I don't eat it, she's going to be really upset. Really? If you told your grandma that you were on a very specific protocol to save your life, and that having the apple pie right now
Mhm.
isn't part of your plan, a doubt. And if she says, "We'll just have a bite," and you say to her, "This is really important to me,"
Mm-hmm.
I'm willing to bet that she will back down. But we
So
don't
this
want
is,
to have those hard conversations.
yes, exactly. So this comes, this is really again where the connection is between relationships and food, because this ties right into boundaries. And just like you said, we don't want to have difficult conversations, the same as in relationships. That's what makes it so hard to communicate, because we don't want to have those hard conversations. This is what makes it hard to follow a diet. We don't want to have those hard conversations with ourselves sometimes.
And with
Yeah.
people, right? And it's crazy. I'm going out for dinner with my friends.
Yeah.
I say, "Okay, which restaurant are you going to? Let's
Yeah.
find some options that are on your plan." Yeah, but they're
Yeah.
going to order appetizers and dessert. So, like literally, I'll say, "So,
Hmm.
well, I can't not have. Why not?" If they're actually your friends and you said to them, "I'm having some health
Hmm.
challenges right now, and I'm working with a professional, and I need to, for a period of time, follow this. Once I get this done, then we can go out for athletes together," right?
Hmm.
It's always and forever. We learn how to incorporate these things in our lives. But this is why I say, and who are you cheating? At the end of the day, when you're eating grandma's apple pie, the only person you're harming is yourself, because you get back on the sugar roller coaster and back on the train. And what you're saying, and this is also going to be a hard one for people, is grandma's feelings are more important than mine.
Yeah,
To the self-worth, self-esteem.
absolutely. So right, this is something we've talked about as well, Michal, is how we tend to today in society put other people's needs and feelings before our own. Well, I'll speak for the women that I work with, which is part of how people get into toxic and unfulfilling relationships to begin with, because they're not either noticing their own needs or putting priority on their own needs. So what they're doing is giving into other people, similar to what you're just saying in your example. So the partner wants to do something they don't want to do. She doesn't want to rock the boat. She doesn't want to seem difficult. She doesn't want to have a difficult conversation. She doesn't want to start conflict. So she doesn't want to be misunderstood. She doesn't want to get into an argument. All of these reasons, she decides to be quiet, do what her partner wants, not what she wants. Fast forward doing this a lot. Now you're in a relationship where you're walking on eggshells, and resentment is building because your needs aren't being met, and you're now unfulfilled, and you're not speaking up, and you're not being true to yourself. Where are we back now? Now you're cheating on yourself, on what you want, on what your needs are. This is exactly what you're saying about food.
And so now you know why I said this was so exciting for me, because so often when I work with somebody, we don't always start with the food. We start with the self-worth, because you need to understand the importance of doing this for yourself
Mm-hmm.
and getting down to the root of your why
Mm-hmm.
is is at the core of everything. Because if you ask somebody, if my clients,
Mm-hmm.
many of them, if I say to them, "Why do you want to do this?"
Mm-hmm.
It might be so that my doctor gets off my back.
Mm.
It might be to control a condition, like an autoimmune condition can be very well managed,
Uh-huh.
not perfectly controlled, not cured, but very well managed with food, as
Yeah.
can type 2 diabetes, very well managed with food,
Okay.
depending on how far along you are.
Okay.
Right.
Still
We
better than not managing at all.
Right. Yeah, more you'll still move the needle. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I just had a recent client who was diagnosed with fatty liver disease, from eating poorly and from drinking,
Okay.
which drinking used to be the only thing that caused it, until our diets changed. Because, as I said, when you and I were growing up, the food environment wasn't like it is now.
Yeah. Yeah. Food was healthier.
Well, there wasn't as much choice on the entertainment side, and it wasn't shoved down your throat constantly and consistently. But
There wasn't as
and
much
that's a different
choice.
conversation.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Mm-hmm.
fatty liver disease. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
after and she was type 4. I mean, she was stage 4, And she was up for liver transplant. They said to her, if things don't improve, you're going to be up for a liver transplant.
Is fatty liver disease the same as cirrhosis of the liver?
It ends up being cirrhosis of the liver. Okay. And so that's what she had, stage 4. Um, we worked together. We've been working together now for 2 months. After the first month, not only did she lose 25 pounds like this. Now, she stopped drinking the minute she got the diagnosis. But when we started working together, she lost 25 pounds like this. All of a sudden, energy was up. She was feeling better. She was running around, like her libido. She just had a new boyfriend. Her libido was through the roof. All she was telling me about was everything that was going on. And she wasn't, I mean, she's not young. She wasn't in her 40s, but she's not in her 60s either.
Yeah.
Right.
So it sounds like she's feeling so much better after just a month.
And then she went to the doctor and literally, he said to her, carry on like this, you're not going to need a liver transplant.
Wow, that's
Markers had dropped beyond significantly in 1 month.
yeah.
No crazy medication,
Yeah.
right? Simply by changing her diet and her lifestyle. She stopped drinking,
Yeah.
started eating appropriately,
Yeah.
right?
Wow.
Now she doesn't need a liver transplant.
That's amazing.
Well,
That is a really amazing
now
story.
before she couldn't travel because she couldn't get travel insurance.
Oh, wow.
Now she can get travel insurance because of her liver enzymes and all of the liver markers having come down so
That's a
significantly.
huge impact. Huge impact
But
to health.
she was very clear on her why. The reason I
Yes.
share that story,
Yes.
she was very clear. I don't want to die.
Yeah, I was going to say this. I was actually thinking about that. This sounds like it wasn't an external motivation. She was internally motivated to make this change, like you say, because she didn't want to die. She wanted to get healthy. Um, this is a little off the point, but nonetheless, it's what I'm thinking. External motivation is still a good starting point, but internal motivation, I think, produces a lot better change. You disagree?
I disagree from my perspective
Uh-huh.
because, yes, external motivation will get you started, but
Hmm.
external motivation also allows you to justify cheating
Oh, interesting.
because
Yeah.
because who's responsible? You're
Yeah.
not, it's not your
It's
responsibility.
not as motivating. I will agree with that. Internal, when you have your own, you call it your why. When you
Yeah,
have your internal motivation, your own why, your own reason for wanting to do this, you have this whole other level of empowerment and desire about it versus I'm doing this for my partner. I'm doing this because the doctor said so. I'm doing, yes.
I have yet to have success and proper success
Mm-hmm.
with somebody who doesn't have
Oh,
their own
interesting.
internal motivation.
Yeah.
Because I can tell you, Jodi, I love you. I love you. You really need to get a handle on your diet. You're killing yourself.
Mm.
Okay, I know that I should. And then you do for a day or two, and then you don't.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
it's like, Jodi, come on. We had this yeah, I know, but it's so hard. And at the end of the day, you really don't want to, or you
Yeah.
don't have a reason to. And
Mm-hmm.
so I always find that isn't an option. And I want to look good naked isn't an option either.
Hmm.
Because I want to look good naked. I can look good naked next week, next month, next year. It's so hard. It takes so long. And, I can be healthy without being skinny. And I'm not saying be skinny, but I'm just using
Mm-hmm.
people's things.
Mm-hmm.
Or I can just, go on Ozempic and it's fine. It'll cure everything. Not
Mm-hmm.
the panacea that it's made out to be. Good stuff in certain situations, absolutely life-changing for people, but
Mm-hmm.
not in every situation.
Mm-hmm.
Now there's that option, right? And people love a quick fix. People love a quick fix. Nobody wants to do the work. Work is hard.
Yeah, hence Ozempic doing so well.
Yeah, yeah,
So
because work is
popular.
hard, right? And it
Yeah.
doesn't matter what happens to you in Ozempic. You lose your muscle, you become under muscled. It doesn't matter, right?
Is that
What matters is you look, it's one of the things. Yeah.
Wow.
You look good naked ish.
Mm,
Anyway, but when you know, well, why do I want to look good naked?
mm-hmm.
Because I want to feel confident when I walk down the street that, I'm a proud, good-looking woman that takes care of herself, and that I'm 53 years old, and I'm not on any medications, and my body looks good. I don't look like that other woman down the street, and it's a reflection of my health, and I know I'm going to live a long time, and I don't want to be old and living in an old age home and not enjoying the
Yeah.
retirement that I've worked my ass off for, right? All of whatever the things might be for you. I'm just using
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah. That sounds like empowering. It sounds like it's based in self-worth. Um, when
whereas
you have
look good
those.
naked isn't. Look good naked doesn't make me worthy. It just means I
Yeah.
look good naked, or I think I
Yeah.
look good naked, and that metric changes. That
Yes,
metric
that's true.
that metric.
And it falls into the problem of body image. So yeah, it's not a healthy primary reason.
No. And I
Yeah.
said, is it a reason? Sure, it's fine. It's better than my mom told me to do it.
Yeah.
Right? Generally, if your mom told you to do it, you'd say, heck no. But yeah, so it's just it works differently. And that's so we start there. And then we start work on setting standards for yourself. So you want to be this 53-year-old woman who walks down the street confidently and who's strong and healthy and doesn't need medications and is gonna, how does that woman, and we spoke about this in our cheating episode as well. How does that woman show up every day? That woman, not you, that woman you want to be, how does she show up every day? How does somebody who looks amazing, and because they treat their body well, how do they show up in their lives every single day? And you set a standard for yourself that way, right? This is it a perfect? No, it's a practice, right? I'm
Mm-hmm.
not saying you have to be perfect, or
Yeah.
you don't act me the orthorexic stuff, right? There is something to be said for being committed to
Mm-hmm.
taking care of yourself,
Mm-hmm.
whether that's brushing your teeth or washing your hair or understanding what you put into your body makes a difference to how you look and feel and perform.
Yeah.
And if you want to be the person who feels like they are good at looking and feeling and performing, how does that person show up? Is that person eating chocolate cake every night? Is that person saying, I can't live without my popcorn at the movies because my brain isn't even registering that I'm eating and I'm just putting the stuff in my mouth?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Is that the person who goes out for dinner with their friends and can't confidently say to them, listen, guys, I'm on a plan right now.
Yeah.
Can't do this. When I've reached my goal, we'll go out for a celebration of some kind.
I'm interested to know what you hear is the most common reason or reasons that make it so difficult for people to follow a healthy eating lifestyle, let me call it.
There's many. One of the biggest one is sugar and food addiction, sugar and starch addiction.
Addiction.
Period. Sugar addiction and addiction to starches. By starches, I mean breads and pastas and chips. People will
Yeah.
tell, oh, I don't eat a lot of sweets. I just like pastries. Or I just like bread. Same
Uh-huh.
thing.
Uh-huh.
Same. Once
Yeah.
once you've chewed and swallowed it, it's the same.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's the converts to sugar thing.
Yeah, and we are
Um,
very, very, as a society, addicted to it, and our food is
yeah.
manipulated to
Yeah.
get us addicted and keep us addicted.
So once we start eating those foods that are not good, the addiction starts. So does that mean don't eat it to begin with?
Well, in an ideal world, yes.
Yeah.
And I'll give you an example. And an example that might be relevant to you and me. It's my personal example.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't grow up with McDonald's.
Mm-hmm. We
People
didn't.
are absolutely addicted to McDonald's. They
Yeah.
like love it, worship it, best fries ever,
Yeah.
right? They know that it's bad for them. They're no McDonald's fries, right? we didn't grow up with McDonald's. You had already left South Africa when McDonald's came. I was in South Africa. It was just before I left.
Okay.
And we had our own fast food, but
Yeah.
it wasn't the fast food culture that there
No.
is.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, when McDonald's came to South Africa, I was kind of curious.
Yeah.
I was also kind of cheap, and I'd rather go to a restaurant for a good meal than pay the same for a McDonald's burger. And everyone said to me, weren't you curious? I wasn't really. I tried a
Okay.
chicken nugget once. I was very underwhelmed.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
I came here, literally a chicken nugget. I
Yeah.
came to North America. McDonald's is everywhere. Like all of
Yeah.
these fast food places are
Yeah.
everywhere. And people love it and go all the time and order all, like they choose to go and eat there.
Yeah.
Not an
Yeah.
aspiration thing.
Yeah.
And to me, it just smells bad.
No, personally, I can't relate to that either.
By a McDonald's and blocks away, I can smell it. KFC is the worst. I can smell it, right? And it is gross and disgusting. Why? Because I never got addicted to it. And
Mm,
why is there such
yeah.
an issue with marketing to children? Why?
Mm,
Because they get them addicted young. And look at the problems that are going on with kids now. Look
mhm.
at,
Wow.
and then there's this whole culture of kid food. And kid food is all entertainment food. Kid food is not
Yeah.
food, right?
Yeah.
And look at what happens to our kids. Our kids are addicted from when they're weaned off breast milk.
Kids learn early, and you're saying, yeah, because I can identify with you where McDonald's and takeout and these foods have no appeal to me whatsoever. And I hear what you're saying. It's what you grow up with.
Even
That
as an adult, if you sorry to interrupt you, but even as an adult, if I had started eating
yeah,
McDonald's
yeah,
and I thought, yes, this isn't the best, but everybody else loves it,
yeah,
which is
you
what
could
we
start to get addicted to it. You could
you
start
start to
to.
get it.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah,
But the younger you start, the
yeah,
harder it is.
yeah.
And
What
you
you
know,
what you do what you experience as a child has an impact with food,
some
with our
degree.
experiences, with our relationships. It really does. It is our basic learning years, formative years. That's exactly right.
It's crazy. So they get them addicted young. And if people say no, food industry isn't like that, this is nothing against the food industry. It's a business.
Mm,
And the goal of a business is to make money. And how do you make money? You make the cheapest possible product
yeah.
that will be bought the most over and over and over again.
Yeah. I would love to hear on another episode about healthy eating, what you recommend, what your views are on that. I know you
Love it.
strongly advocate for meat. Um, I would really love to hear more about, and I would love to ask all my questions, and I might put in some personal questions so that I can eat more healthily too.
You can ask for a friend.
I can ask for a friend. Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah,
Oh my
okay.
gosh.
I mean, I
Yeah.
know this one we've just scratched the surface, but
Yeah.
I hope it's given people literally food for thought. Like
Hmm.
literally, because it's not as simple as want cake, eat cake.
Yeah.
There's so much more to that. And it takes a while to break free from that addiction to the processed food. And we
Mm,
can talk about because all food is processed. We don't eat, we humans are different from animals because we process our food. Cooking is a process, right? Cutting is a process.
mm,
We're not ripping things with our teeth. Um,
mm,
it takes a while, and it's because if you and I tell people and they laugh at me sometimes, but it's
mm,
true. If you think about it the same as a drug addiction, as a
mhm,
serious like intravenous drug addiction,
mhm.
right? What and this is where moderation also comes in, and this is going to be my final thought.
Okay.
What is the moderate amount of heroin that a heroin addict can have in recovery? What is the moderate amount for them?
In recovery.
Zero.
Yeah. Yeah.
What happens to most of them, not all of them, most of them, if they start experimenting again?
Mm,
The slippery, steep
yeah.
slope.
Yeah.
And learning how to, one of the hardest part of my work is teaching people how to manage that slope. And there's strategies to do that too.
Yeah. It's a lot of support. It sounds like a lot of support is needed.
Support, absolutely, and mindfulness. We
Yeah.
don't
Wow.
think about what we put in our mouths most of the time, and
Yeah.
mindfulness,
Yeah.
right? How many times did an empty bag of chips land up on the couch next to you? I don't know how the empty bag of chips got on the couch next to me, right? Because you sat and mindlessly ate the whole bag.
Is it mindset? Is it changing the way you think as well?
It's about I say it's about relearning so you can rethink.
Oh, I like that. This has been really fascinating, really interesting to hear, and I really would love to hear more about eating healthily.
Good. We'll do one of that, and we'll tie it to relationships as well because they're tied together.
Wow.
Unsupportive partners. My
Yeah,
God, it's huge.
yeah,
Huge. So,
yeah, that'll be amazing. We should talk about that. Healthy eating, healthy relationships, support for both.
and if anybody else has a topic they want us to talk about,
Mhm.
you or me or both, there's a comment section for that.
Love to hear it. Tell us what you think about today's episode. What hit you the hardest? What resonates with you? Like Michal says, what else would you like to hear us talk about?
Amazing. And don't forget to like the podcast, share it with somebody who you think would find it helpful, and subscribe.
Thanks, Michal.
Thanks, Jodi.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye bye.